Something major just happened that I honestly never thought that Nintendo slash Game Freak would ever do. So if you don't remember, a couple of months ago, the Terra leak dropped, which was so much information, just all things Pokemon and Game Freak, right? So many leaks came out, and apparently there are still like terabytes of data and information that just have not been leaked yet. Like apparently the leaker knows a lot. And of course the public, the general public, we didn't really get an insane kind of absurd amount of leak. We definitely did get a lot, but apparently like according to how much data there truly is, we didn't really even scratch the surface. The leaker did really kind of stay away from like many story leaks and like future games and stuff. Like we don't really know much. So which is kind of nice because I'm kind of glad we didn't really get too much spoil. But apparently Nintendo has filed a subpoena to force Discord to hand over the details of the Game Freak hacker who was the source of last year's Terra leak. If Nintendo finds the person or people involved, they will very likely be facing jail time. Which, you know, speaking of Discord, make sure to join my Discord. Link is in the description below. I had to get that little plug in because we're talking about Discord here. But this is absolutely insane because this could start some sort of, I guess, quote-unquote war. This leaker could be mad and, you know, upset and drop everything. This person has Game Freak right in the palm of their hands, which is, so I guess some of the stuff that like we don't know is, I guess, more in-depth details about Legend ZA, which I'm sure a lot of the stuff about Legend ZA probably has changed because the game is literally still in development. So, you know, the finalized version of the game is not going to be out for another couple of months, or I guess finished for a couple of months. There are some things about Generation 10, like we got some surface level stuff about Generation 10, like kind of the idea that it's going to be based in an archipelago, and I think it's going to be a European region, I believe. It's been a couple of months since I've seen the leak, but I'm pretty sure it said something about it being another European region. There was a ginormous leak about another mainline Pokemon game that's not related to Legends ZA or another Legends game, I believe, and it's not related to Generation 10, so it's its own brand new title as a mainline Pokemon game, which I can't wait to see what that is. Like, that's going to be something super awesome. There are other, like, scrapped Pokemon games, other scrapped Pokemon that got released that never, you know, came into fruition, which is so cool. Because I think some of the scrapped Pokemon are really interesting. But the reason why I think this is so crazy is because, first of all, why did it take so much time? And second of all, this proves that these leaks are legit. This proves that all of these, most of them, a big handful of these leaks are actually real leaks. And Nintendo is scared and Game Freak does not want this stuff to come out, which is, you know, kind of makes sense, which I don't know what other information they know. Like I've said, like I don't really know what the other stuff that they have, you know, is. There must be some pretty big stuff probably for the future of Pokemon is where my brain is going to, because if Game Freak doesn't want more information to come out, then that means they probably have information about future Pokemon games, which, like I just said, there were some things about Generation 10 and another future mainline Pokemon game. Now, I don't know if there's anything past that. I feel like the odds are there probably are a couple of things that are 5 years ahead of schedule that were in the Terra League, because think about it, Pokemon games and video games in general take a long time to develop, right? They take years and years. And I swear, I think it was Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I think maybe the games, believe took like 3 or 4 years to make, which I might be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. So that means there are Pokemon games that are probably in development right now that we don't even know even are existing, right? Like we don't even know these games are coming out yet. I don't know what they could be. Hopefully some black and white remakes or something. I don't know, but we'll see in a couple of years. What's interesting is that Generation 10 is coming out most likely next year, which means they're probably pretty far into development of that game. That game probably is still a long ways away from being finalized. Like they probably still are making changes every single day. But what's interesting is that like we kind of know a few things about Generation 10, but I could only imagine the closer and closer we get to Generation 10, we're probably going to get some huge leaks and information about it. And I just wish we could know a little bit more about what the overall plans are for Generation 10, because it has to be a big generation. Like it has to be a big game. This is the first double-digit Pokemon game, which is insanely huge, and it's, you know, the 10th generation. Also, probably is going to be for the 30th anniversary of Pokemon as a company, which cannot believe Pokemon is 30 years old. And before we get to the rest of the video, if you guys don't mind leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and turning on the post notifications to help me reach my goal of 20,000 subscribers before the summertime. You guys have been showing so much support, so I want to say thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. You guys rock. And if you want to check out my second channel, Fundores Clips, links to that is in the description below. And shout out to the member of the week, Gyatzy. You are the GOAT, bro. Right, back to the rest of the video. But also is crazy that Nintendo filed a subpoena to force Discord to give the information for the user. So Discord is also in the mix here because this user, I guess, used Discord to, share all the information and share some files and stuff, which apparently the guy's username is Gamefreak out, which is kind of hilarious. Why? I don't know. I'm surprised he used that as his username. I feel like it's not discreet at all. However, Discord is kind of stuck in the middle here because most, companies like this aren't going to want to give over users' data, right? Because it's not a good look for Discord. Discord could have some eyes turned against them if share this user's information on a deeper level, but it's kind of scary because this is a pretty big deal. Obviously, leaking things is pretty big. Like, it's a pretty big and scary and risky thing to do, especially with companies like Nintendo, which have a lot of power and will put the effort into, finding whoever this person is. It's going to be interesting if they do catch this person because, first of all, I'm sure other people have the information now. Like, I'm sure this person has probably shared terabytes and terabytes of data with other people out there. Like I said, repeating myself once again, there is probably a ton of data for the future of Pokemon. Like, they could have the entire schedule of the next couple of years, maybe even the Switch 2 of Pokemon, which is insane. I just find it interesting that this leaker leaked a ton of stuff and then came out and said, or I guess like through Central Leaks, I'm pretty sure Central Leaks from the words of the leaker said that, which is that he didn't want to leak too many things. Like, they wanted to just leak kind of surface level stuff, not go too much in depth. And now apparently they did play an early on version of Legends EA, which is where all those leaks and rumors came out about it having Scarlet and Violet graphics, which did end up coming true. This game really looks very, very similar to Scarlet and Violet. It's a little bit different, very slightly, but it looks very, very, very similar. But that was a beta development build, and they said the game ran terribly, which doesn't seem like Legends EA is going to run terribly, especially since the 4K capabilities it might have on the Switch 2. So, and I know that doesn't mean the performance is going to be great, but hopefully it is. I just think this is crazy because it's showing that Nintendo is like making an effort to stop the leaks, even though we really haven't had many leaks recently, besides all of the Mega Evolution stuff and some other smaller leaks here and there, but the Mega Evolution stuff is pretty huge. And now, I'm not sure if that stuff came out from this person, like the Gamefreak out user on Discord. I really don't know if he is the person that gave us the Mega Evolution leaks and all the other random leaks that, Central Leaks and other big Twitter users have been posting. Could have been somebody else, but like I said, this kind of proves that a lot of those leaks are actually legit, because if those were not real or legit leaks, Nintendo wouldn't care and they wouldn't be going to this extent to like try to force Discord to give over the information. I just think this is crazy and it just really shows a lot. I think the craziest part about it is that it just proves that a lot of it actually is real, but there are leaks, and like I said, games are still in development, so a lot of stuff changes. Like, I'm sure there will be some things that changed. There could even potentially be some different Mega Evolutions that will change. We'll just have to see when the game officially releases at the end of the year. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is crazy? Because I think this is pretty crazy. But if you guys are real on watching this far in the video, comment down below your favorite cereal of all time. I don't know what I would pick. I love a lot of different cereals. I feel like Captain Crunch has always been up there for me. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is always a classic. I don't know, it's hard to pick, but let me know your favorite cereal of all time. Make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.